Alright, so last time I did limits with algebra. Now I got limits with trig. And it's going to involve these formulas. So this is the Pythagorean identity, and these two things you're going to want to know. Sine of 2x is 2 times the product of sine and cosine. And cosine of 2x is the difference. It's basically, the other version of the Pythagorean theorem. So remember, step 1, always plug it in. So cosine of pi over 2, 0. Cosine of pi over 4, sine of pi over 2, that's also 0, because cosine and sine are the same when x is pi over 4. So that's not going to work. So instead, I'm going to use that formula there. So cosine squared of x minus sine squared of x divided by cosine of x. Oh my god, that looks awful. Minus sine of x. And this is difference of squares, so it simplifies to cosine of x minus sine of x times cosine of x plus sine of x. All divided by cosine of x minus sine of x. And then this cancels out. And then we're going to plug in pi over 4 again. And since these two are the same, I'm just going to double whatever it is. So cosine of pi over 4 square root of 2 over 2. So square root of 2. Alright, next one. 1 plus, and then square root of 2 times sine of that is negative square root of 2 over 2, which is, so I'm going to make that positive and make this negative. And this whole thing cancels out to 1. So the numerator is 0. The denominator is cosine of pi over 2, which is also 0. Dang it. Now, you're probably not going to have to do nearly as much work on the AP test. Or any test, really. They're not going to make you do this long of a limit, but I'm just going to show you how it works. So, let's turn this into cosine squared minus sine squared, and that is under this. 1 plus square root of 2 sine of x. Might be able to use that formula. Oh yeah, we can't. Okay. Right. Yes. Okay. Okay, yeah. So I'm going to multiply. I'm going to try and use this top identity here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to multiply by clever form of 1. I'm going to multiply by the conjugate of the numerator here, just so that I get difference of squares. Then cosine squared x minus sine squared x, and oh, hang on. This is actually not going to be that. This is going to be same as the numerator. We don't want to change anything. X. Okay. And so this is going to be difference of squares, so 1 minus 2 sine squared of x divided by, I'm going to turn this back into the original form because I don't think I'm going to use that expanded form. So cosine of 2x times 1 minus square root of 2 sine of x. And then what I can do here is say, well, what's 1 minus, well, actually, back up a minute. Remember when we wrote that, it was difference of squares. So really, it was 1 minus square root of 2 sine of x squared. Yeah, I'll show you in a minute why that's useful. So what is this? Well, we know, actually I changed my mind. No, I changed my mind. I'm going to keep it that way. So remember 1 is equal to cosine of squared plus sine squared. We put those x's. And then we're going to subtract 2 sine squared. Squared x. And this leaves us with cosine squared minus sine squared. Right. And, oh, that's equal to cosine of 2x. So actually that cancels out with that. So we actually have this is our simplified expression. So now we're going to plug in, I believe pi over 4 is what I wanted. Pi over 4, yep. So that's going to be 1 divided by 1 minus 1 half, or 1 over 1 half, or 2. Next up is this. Okay. First step, plug it in. This is 0, because cosine of pi over 2 is 0. We have square root of 2, and then cosine of pi over 4 is, actually back up. Cosine of pi over 4 is square root of 2 over 2. Square root of 2 over 2 times 2 is 2 over 2. Oh, wait, yeah, it is 2 over 2. Hang on. My mistake, my mistake. So this is actually square root of 2 times square root of 2 over 2 is 1, not 2. So we have 1 over 0, which doesn't exist. So right, square root of 2 over 2 times square root of 2 is 2 over 2. Yeah, that's right. Okay. Anyway, so 1 minus 1. And that is 0 over 0. We're going to have to try something else. What should I do here? I'm going to do pretty much what I did up here. I'm going to turn this bottom part, I'm going to multiply by a clever form, so, or the conjugate. So square root of 2 cosine of x plus 1. And then same thing. Same thing here. And that's going to get us cosine 2x times square root of 2 cosine x plus 1 all over, difference of squares here. So we have 2 times cosine squared of x minus 1. And like what I did just up here, we're going to triple it. So see what happens. 2 cosine squared x. And then we're going to subtract 1. So we're going to subtract off that. So minus cosine squared. And then minus sine squared. And that is equal to cosine squared minus sine squared, which once again is equal to cosine of 2x. So this denominator right here is actually the same as that factor right there. So they cancel out, and we're left with this expression, square root of 2 cosine of x plus 1. Let's plug in our value of x is pi over 4, and we get 1 plus 1, not 1/2 plus 1. That is 2. Alright, last one. First step, plug it in. So sine of pi is 0, cosine of pi over 2 is 0. Okay, that failed instantly. We're going to use, I see sine of 2x. I'm going to remember that that is equal to the product of sine and cosine. And that's useful because we have a cosine in our denominator. So these cancel out, and we're left with 2 sine of x, which is 2 times sine of pi over 2, which is 2. And we're done. So that is how you do limits with trig.